What's up, Dragon Brood? This is a fun 5-minute deck tech, and this one comes from our friend Yeoman5, and we're going to be talking about Izzet Pirates, because, lots of pirates in the new set. Also, don't forget, like this video because it helps out so much, and remember to subscribe so you can see the other 5-minute deck techs and the gameplay that goes with these as we get them put up. For now, though, let's go see what pirates look like. As a reminder, you will be able to download this list as well. Just look for the blue arrows in the description. It'll take you right to our Moxfield link. So, getting into this, we have Goblin Tomb Raider. This is actually just an interesting card. It's a 1-mana 1/2 that's already bigger than most 1-mana things, which is cool. But if you have an artifact, it gets +1/+0 and has haste. And we're going to have quite a few artifacts. Speaking of which, he came up with a really cool idea to play Rabbit Battery. And I like this because it's another way to give other stuff haste, but it can also give you something that survives the sweepers and whatnot, which is super sweet. And it's just a cheap artifact, and we do have stuff that cares about artifacts. Speaking of which, we also have Spyglass Siren. This is actually really cool. It's a 1/1/1 with flying, so, flying creatures are obviously going to be good. But it does give you a map token as well, which counts as another artifact coming into play. And it's possible you could always just crack the map token and maybe make this a 2/2 and they'd be attacking with it early. There's nothing to turn your nose up at that. Actually, really good value there. Now, the new card that does really care about artifacts is Captain Storm, Cosmium Raider. It's a 2-mana 2/2 human pirate. Legendary, of course. And then whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target pirate you control. Yeah, we're going to have a pirate deck with lots of pirates. We're going to have multiple things, as you can see, making artifacts. So yeah, this is just a quick way to start pumping your creatures and get things moving. Now, we're going to be playing some Make Disappear because our creatures can be swept away pretty easily, and we don't have the fastest way to rebuild our board, so we need a little bit of defense just in case. Also going to play Malcolm. This is kind of a little bit of a weird card, but it is a Pirate Siren. It's a 2-mana 2/1. It does have Flash, which we like, and flies. And then when it deals damage, you get to put a counter on it. Then if it has 4 counters, you get to discard a card, draw a card, and play the discarded card for free. Actually, whenever you put the counter on, you get to discard anyway and draw, but you get to play the card that you discarded for free if you have the 4 counters. Hope that makes sense. I'm going pretty quick so we can fit this in 5 minutes. But we also follow up our next card, which Staunch Crewmate. It's a 2-mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal an artifact or a pirate from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. We've had this card before. It's been other things, but basically 2-mana 2/1. Look at your top cards, get a themed card or an artifact. This is going to be good just for digging to the cards we want when we want them and keeping us on time. Actually, or on curve, I guess. Speaking of which, if we get to play this Britches, this is going to be really cool. Eager Pillager, 3-mana 3/3. It's a Goblin Pirate. It has First Strike, already solid. But whenever you have a pirate attack, you get to pick one of these 3 things. You get to create a treasure token, target creature can't block this turn, and then exile the top card of your library and you can play it. Now, this is whenever a pirate you control attacks, not one or more, just whenever one. So if you attack with 3, you can get all 3 triggers here, which is really fantastic, especially getting access to extra cards. And then Kite Arsonist. This is a fun one because it's a 3-mana 2/3 flying ward 1, which makes it a little bit more difficult to kill. And when it enters the battlefield, for each player you choose up to 1 other target artifact or creature that player controls. For as long as this card's in play, then the card just becomes a treasure and it loses all its other abilities. This is good for turning off a lot of things. Now, how many or which ones are going to be the most important, we'll see, but this is actually just super good. Obviously has more value because it has the each opponent clause in Commander, but this is going to be just fine for 1v1. There's going to be a lot of cards that do have abilities that you want to turn off, and I don't think we're going to be upset at this. Now, the other thing that Yeoman5 came up with, which I really like here, is Mindlink Mac. This is fun because you can play this, and it only crews for 1, and then it gets to basically become a copy of whatever it is that crewed it. So if you have something like Malcolm, you get to put those counters on to draw and discard. Maybe you can crew it with Breaches, and then whenever you attack, you get multiple triggers, which is kind of funny. Actually, or you can just have it be something like the Raider, and then you get an extra +1 because you control an artifact, right? So just fun stuff we can do with this card all the way around. Really, really like this. Really smart choice. And then Magmatic Galleon. We've had this in a couple of lists, I think, already so far with these 5-minute deck techs, and I think this card, you're going to keep seeing it. 5 damage is really, really big. Like, that takes out pretty much any of the relevant creatures that most people are playing. And then on top of that, it only crews for 2, which we could easily crew with most of our cards. And we get to create more treasure. And again, we have cards that care about artifacts coming onto the battlefield. So this really checks that box as well. Just really cool all-around card for this list. This is a really fun build if you're looking at playing Pirates. And again, you can get this deck list down below. If you want to download it, just look for the blue arrows. Remember to subscribe to make sure you see the other 5-minute deck techs and the gameplay that goes with it. Please like the video and be sure to check out the merch. Otherwise, check out these other videos to make sure you're ready to go with Standard with some more 5-minute deck techs.